Yeah, g'day everyone, Aussie Shooter here again, and I've got some news, and we've got here Telegraph Monday, September 16th. There you go, have a look at that right there. And this is just a follow-up story regarding Attorney General's Greg Smith proposed watering down of the home detention rules, where they plan to give home detention to sexual offenders and violent criminals. And it says cuts put public at risk. And basically, a story saying that dangerous criminals on parole face less supervision, with the government quietly cutting 92 jobs from the prisoner supervision program, and basically more cost cutting at the expense of public safety. And when questioned about whether or not this will mean that the parolees will have less supervision, they didn't really answer the question. So I'm guessing the question the answer is basically yes, they will have less supervision. So anyway, disgusting stuff from the government again. I'm willing to bet that the government would probably rather close hospitals and fire stations than to ever get rid of the firearms registry, which does absolutely nothing. But what do we expect from government? Okay, now some bad news. Well, I'm smiling because it's bad news for the Greens. Latest papers, and this is a report that I read earlier on the internet, but I wasn't really sure on how credible it was. And now more publishers out there are starting to put the same stuff out. And here we go. This is Tuesday, September 17th, right there. Have a look at that. And it says UN retreats on climate. It's basically a report saying the IPCC has said that more or less that climate change is not so bad, that their models don't reveal the same sort of bad news as they did a long time ago, and really it's not as bad as people think. And this must be horrifying news to the Greens, but music to my ears. And here we go once again, same paper. Report gives truth on climate change at last. There you go, another story. And then you got here on the other side of the page, carbon tax based on great hoax. And here says climate science tires of being mired in the dire. And all really good stories, basically revealing what a lot of us already know, that this climate change hoax that's been hoisted onto the people and forced onto us, and all this rubbish about global warming is starting to expire. And that's really good news for us, because it means hopefully a lower voter base for the Greens, as people start to wake up and realise that they've been taken for a ride. So yeah, that's good news there. So anyway, and also many of you have heard about the latest shooting in the United States at a United States Naval base. And very quickly the media were very quick to jump on early news reports which were incorrect, that the killer had an AR-15. And here we are, we've got Wednesday, September 18th, today's paper right there. Whoops, excuse me. There you go, Buddhist with a bad temper, as you can see there. Now, what I'd like to comment on regarding this story is the absolute massive failure on government to stop this guy doing what he's doing. And this is someone who was a military contractor, and the problem with this is he was previously in the Navy, and he had several behavioral infringements against him in the Navy, and that's the reason why he was kicked out. And then he committed several firearms offences after that, but it was never charged. And then, to make things worse, the government re-employed him as a contractor and gave him security clearance again and let him back into the base. I mean, this is a bloke that should have been behind bars and should have never been allowed to purchase firearms in the first place. So massive failure by the government, and it makes you question. I mean, the US have got all these departments, you know, the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, Homeland Security, all these departments. I mean, what are these people doing? Sitting on their hands? I mean, what a huge failure. But yet the paper found a great way to spin it again. Oh yeah, you know, they're saying he had an AR-15 assault rifle, this and that, whatever. And the fact is, it's not true. Later on, reports said they didn't have an AR-15 at all. That he done it with a shotgun. But the stupid media found a great way to spin it. This morning, I couldn't believe my ears. I was listening to TUE with Andrew Voss, I think it was. And they were saying that the shooter didn't have an AR-15, but he hired an AR-15 the previous week, and that he went shooting with the gun, but didn't use it in the rampage. And they were saying, oh, you know, it could have been a lot worse because he could have had an AR-15. And then they went on this crazy rant on basically telling everyone how bad the AR-15 was and how many rounds per minute he shoots, and it just had absolutely nothing to do with the story. It was just a opportunistic grab in trying to demonize the AR-15 again, and I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I was starting to think to myself, well, these guys are actually really upset that the guy didn't have an AR-15 and that he didn't shoot more people. It would have suited their anti-gun propaganda rubbish, you know, better. But they were genuinely upset. But anyway, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing, and it just shows you what kind of lows the Australian media sinks to when it comes to things like this. But anyway, guys, that's the news. So it's actually really good news for us regarding the Greens and all their climate change crap. And I wonder how long the Labor Party and the Greens are going to be continuing to push this this offensive rubbish onto the Australian people. I wonder how long it can be sustained. But anyway, guys, Aussie Shooter signing out, and I'll catch you later.